The United States has imposed a blockade on Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz. According to international law, blockades are an act of war. Therefore, the U.S. has begun a new act of war on Iran, even as the two countries are observing a 2-week ceasefire. The move by U.S. President Donald Trump has been widely criticized, with China being among the latest to condemn the blockade.
At a time when
the relevant parties have already reached a temporary ceasefire arrangement, the U.S. escalation of military deployment and its targeted blockade action will only exacerbate contradictions, heighten tensions, undermine the already fragile ceasefire situation, and further jeopardize the safety of passage through the Strait. This is dangerous and irresponsible behavior.
China has called Trump's behavior dangerous and irresponsible, and the American Vice President J.D. Vance has also equated the blockade to economic terrorism. He says that Iran has engaged in economic terrorism first, and now the U.S. is abiding by the same principle.
They basically threatened any ship that's moving through the Straits of Hormuz. Well, as the President of the United States showed, two can play at that game. And if the Iranians are going to try to engage in economic terrorism, we're going to abide by a simple principle that no Iranian ships are getting out either. We know that's a big deal to them. We know that applies additional economic leverage.
The U.S. says it is blockading Iran's entire coastline. It is reportedly doing this with 15 warships, including the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier. But the reports say that ships are still managing to move through the strait. The Chinese-linked tanker Rich Starry was reportedly the first vessel to pass the strait after the blockade came into force. The U.S. has sanctioned the ship back in 2023 for helping Iran evade sanctions. Despite this, Rich Starry managed to bypass the blockade. According to marine trackers, the last port of call is Al Hamriya in the UAE, and the U.S. has maintained that it is only blocking traffic to and from Iranian ports. However, reports indicate that other ships, even those coming from Iranian ports, have started to cross the Hormuz Strait. One of them is the Comoros-flagged Elpis, which reportedly set sail from Iran's Bushehr. Another is the Liberia-flagged Christiana, which is set off from Iran's Imam Khomeini port. It seems that ships have already begun to challenge the American blockade. The question is, will the U.S. use force to stop them, and how would Iran and other nations respond to that?
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.